With the world emerging from lockdown, the 2020 UK Motorsport season finally got underway with round one of the Britcar Endurance Championship at Croft. Britcar's multi-class format sees an impressive array of GTs, sports prototypes and touring cars all racing together and scoring championship points within their own categories. Having been crowned Class 1 champions last year, sports car manufacturer Praga and the VR Motorsport team have set their sights on claiming the overall title in 2020.
We've got great plans for this year to really, build on the most successful year for VR Motorsport in 2019, the most successful year for Pragas and the R1 racing cars in 2019 around the world. We had around 30 podiums and race wins. Also, we've got some really exciting plans for 2021. So this year's really about building momentum ahead of the exciting news and activities we've got going in 2021.
In its debut season last year, the Praga R1T scored more outright victories than any other car, regularly finishing ahead of more powerful GTs. So, what's the secret to its success?
I think it's a simple set of maths, actually. It's light and it's reasonably powerful. When you take weight out of a car, you make it easier on the brakes, you make it easier on the engine, you make it easier on everything. You take a Porsche 911, say, very expensive, relatively heavy race car, we quite simply have more horsepower per tonne. And we have more aero, so much more downforce. A lot later on the brakes and we're a lot faster through the corners.
The team has a three-pronged assault on this year's championship, and the distinctive number 85 art car is being driven by Danny Harrison. A frontrunner in last year's Ginetta GT5 Challenge, his ambition is to one day compete in the world's most famous endurance race.
My goal is to do Le Mans one day, which we've all spoke about as a big career progression. The Praga is a brilliant car. It's a great stepping stone. The downforce is amazing. You can physically feel it on your body, which is just a mega feeling as a race driver anyway. And for the price of the car, it's unbeatable.
Harrison's co-driver for the season is Hepworth, but she's been forced to miss the opening round.
Sadly, I've damaged my knee a little bit, but it's not a bad break. It's going to heal quickly, and I'll be back for round 2 at Brands Hatch.
Aboard the number 84 Praga, three-time Mazda MX-5 Masters champion Gary Townsend and rising talent Jack Fabby, both impressed with the performance of their R1T in testing.
It's a carbon fibre monocoque, so the fact that it's such a stiff chassis means that you can just put the car wherever you want it really and it'll stick.
The lineup is completed by inspirational army veterans turned racing drivers Martyn Compton and Warren Mckinlay. The weekend got off to a flying start as Harrison claimed pole position on his debut, with Fabby and Townsend just 0.2 of a second behind. A VR Motorsport 1-2 in qualifying, while Compton and Mckinlay did an excellent job in the team's only non-turbo Praga, 6th fastest. Despite the outstanding qualifying effort and Fabby building a strong early lead, some technical issues put both Harrison and the Fabby and Townsend cars out of the running for victory. However, thanks to the incredible efforts of VR Motorsport, both cars were quickly back in the race and made up significant ground. After dropping to the back of the field at the start, the highlight of the race was undoubtedly Warren Mckinlay's charge back through the field in the opening stint. And Compton built on Mckinlay's excellent work to take his R1 up to 3rd in Class 2 and 4th place overall.
It did go well considering how we started. We had a lot of chasing to do, but finished P4 overall with P2 in class, so really happy with that.
We kept the game face on and we just picked them off one by one. And if the race had been just that little bit longer, we probably would have got P3 overall and been on the podium for our first race.
With the result of race 1 setting the grid for race 2, Danny Harrison and Jack Fabby had work to do, starting 8th and 16th respectively. But both were on a mission. Harrison up to 2nd place by the end of the opening lap, while Fabby quickly moved into the top 10. Just a few laps later, they were 1st and 2nd. With the mandatory mid-race pit stops complete, Harrison began to build a commanding lead. while Gary Townsend was working hard to fend off the Ferrari of pro driver and former Britcar champion Ross Wiley. But it was to be a glorious race for the team. A Praga 1-2 as Harrison took the checkered flag and Townsend withstood the pressure from the Ferrari.
In the first lap we was in the lead, and just from then we just nailed it all the way down to the lights. But yeah, mega race.
Pits were giving me sort of times to go, and where I was in the race I just kept saying P2 and hanging on in there, and sure enough we got there in the end, and brilliant.
At the end of a hugely promising weekend for the VR Motorsport Pragas, Danny Harrison and Jem Hepworth head into round 2 at Brands Hatch as the overall championship leaders.